Could I ask the Lieutenant Governor to come speak to us today?
Interestingly enough, the Arnold Sports Festival was just in town over the weekend. So you're back and he's back, right? Great to be with you. My name's John Husted, and I am the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Ohio. And Governor DeWine and I welcome you, and we hope you have a great trip to Ohio. And what I'd like to do this morning is to just give you a little flavor for where we've come as a state and where we are right now, that hopefully will be educational and helpful to you as you do your work. We are, it's very interesting. Just so you know a little bit more about my background, I started out in economic development in the Dayton area, grew up in rural Northwest Ohio, and now my family and I live in Columbus. So I've lived in many places in the state. And I'm going to give you a flavor just from some things that I've experienced in my life about how this state has changed during that lifetime. Because when I was just graduating from high school and headed off to college at the University of Dayton, my dad lost his job. He worked in a machine tool factory in rural Northwest Ohio. And at that time in the mid-1980s, the Midwest was hit pretty hard. Globalization was starting to occur. America had gone sleepy in the manufacturing space, hadn't innovated, and a lot of people were paying the price for it by losing their jobs and businesses closing and shutting down. And my family had to leave Ohio because there were no opportunities for them to get work. It was a difficult time. It was a slow change. And I remember 10 years later, I have a job working in economic development at the Dayton Chamber of Commerce. And I'm in charge of economic development. And I go with a group of people from the Dayton area to South Carolina to visit with a group of site selectors. And we were trying to get on their map. We were trying to sell the Dayton area, sell Ohio, and say, hey, this is the place that you need to come. And we were going through the list. The senior member of the delegation was kind of going through the list of the things, and he's like, got one of the site selectors just says, stop, stop. He's like, you're not on our list. He said, Ohio is a dying state. And he said that you got very high taxes, and one of our guys interrupted and said, well, we can give you some. And he's like, just stop. He's like, you're just not the place we're going. And that was tough for me to hear, because, I grew up in this state. I love this place. The people here are the best that you'll ever meet. They just work hard, focus on their families, just try to do things right. And I remember thinking to myself, it's like, we got to change this. Fortunately, not too many years later, I had a job where I got to change this, because now this is my 21st year in elected office in the state of Ohio. And as a new member of the General Assembly, in 4 years of getting elected to the General Assembly, I became Speaker of the House. And I worked with then Governor Taft and my friends in the Ohio Senate, and we reformed the Ohio tax code, eliminated the corporate tax, eliminated the inventory tax, eliminated the tangible personal property tax, cut income taxes by 21%, and began the process of reforming the things that were hurting us. Now, fast forward around 20 years later, we went from a high tax state to a low tax state. Now our top rate was nearly 8%. Now it's below 4%. 3.9%. We don't have a death tax anymore. We don't have any corporate taxes. We did a lot of regulatory reform on tort reform and a lot of other things. And now we went from a state where I remember this. Remember, we used to be ranked like 35th, 38th best state to do business. Now we're in the top 10 in every one. And in on Site Selection magazine, we've been #1 2 years in a row as a great place to do business. and we're killing it. We're creating jobs here faster than we could find people to fill them. It's going great. We changed a lot, but a lot in the world has changed. Used to be that the Midwest didn't seem like the place you wanted to be. Now it kind of is, as people begin to reshore and they begin to produce things through advanced manufacturing domestically again. And then they say, well, if I want to produce things domestically, I need to find a place that actually knows how to make things. That's the Midwest. That's Ohio. We need a place with great infrastructure. Ohio has great infrastructure. We need some place in the middle of the country where we can ship to the rest of the world. You can do that from here. And that's what's happening in our state. You also have the fact that the coasts have, in many cases, made themselves so expensive to do business from the tax structure and the other things that are happening there that we're beginning to see companies move to Ohio. In the last couple of years, just in the last 2 years, we've had 27, I believe, JP, 25 companies move operations from California, New York, the DC area to Ohio. And now, instead of being one of these post-industrial Midwestern states, we now have one of the most diverse economies in the country. Advanced manufacturing, Peloton just cited their advanced manufacturing facility in Ohio. They're going to distribute from Ohio to the rest of North America and Europe because of the availability of the workforce, the land, and the ability to put things on rail and move it. They're going to make a Peloton, once every 13 seconds, right? Once they get this rolling. Aviation. We are not only home for Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, which controls the majority of the Air Force budget, and NASA Glenn, but we're also a testing site for pilotless drones. And we're seeing aviation facilities, more and more of them come back to Ohio. Home of the Wright brothers. They should be here anyway. Additionally, we're going to think of financial services. We've got banks, of course. A lot of places have banks. We've got a lot of insurance companies from Nationwide and Progressive here, but we also have innovative new companies like Root, which uses an algorithm to judge how well you drive and rate your insurance on that basis, and became a startup just a few years ago, and now it's a multi-billion-dollar company. We have a lot of great entrepreneurs. We have one of the great AI companies, fastest growing AI companies in Olive happening, that's growing right here in Columbus. And we have 2 quantum computers coming to Ohio, one at the Cleveland Clinic to do research, another one at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base for national defense. I don't think there's another state in the country that has that going on. And we also have 3 innovation districts built around healthcare, one in Cleveland, one in Columbus, and one in Cincinnati. The one in Cincinnati, by the way, Ohio is was the only state in the nation that has 2 children's hospitals that are rated in the top 10. One of them's in Cincinnati. And the one in Cincinnati, we're developing a pediatric cancer innovation district there in conjunction with the University of Cincinnati. The innovation district in Columbus is built around cell and gene research and biology. Some amazing things happening here with that as well. And in Cleveland, it's on pathogens. So that when the next COVID-20 hits or whatever it is, we got a solution that was built right here in Ohio. We have all of these things going on. I list those. I could go further. Not only that, we're one of the great logistics state in the country with a lot of great infrastructure, rail, air transportation, roads, all those kinds of things. The point for telling you all this is that we've come a long way over the course of 30 years. A little cracking one there. We've come a long way over the course of 30 years. And it didn't happen by accident. It happened because we got intentional about what we wanted to do. We built a great ecosystem for entrepreneurs. We've got a great workforce. We're right centrally located in the middle of the country, which does help. But the things that once worked against us are now working for us. And we are excited about what our future is. We have in the pipeline, JP, I don't know if you're going to go into this. I'm not going to disclose anything because I can't. We have in the pipeline some of the biggest economic development projects in the history of our state that could happen here very soon. Because more and more people are realizing that they want to be in America. They want to produce things in America. And there's no better place to do that than right here in Ohio. So I hope you get a little flavor for what we're trying to accomplish and where we're at. And I hope also that you have a great visit here. Weather's always like this, sunny and pleasant. I'm telling you, the climate change thing is working in our favor. I mean, it's gonna work out for us. But we're doing a lot of wonderful things. Not to mention, we talk about the environment, and I don't mean to joke about it, because one of the things that we are doing that I will mention is that we're a big agricultural state as well. And we have some great environmental programs going on with H2 Ohio to make sure that agriculture and our environment can peacefully coexist with one another, and making sure that we have clean water, because we certainly have a lot of water with Lake Erie, and the great resources that we have there. We're being very sound in that respect. And also, I didn't even mention on the advanced manufacturing front, the largest solar production facility outside of China is going to be here right here in Ohio. It is here in Ohio for solar. And there's a lot of great things happening in our state. I hope you have a great trip, and anything that you need. We are very customer service friendly. We are very customer service friendly. We're a friendly place to be. And we welcome you, and we look forward to getting to know many of you much better in the days ahead. Thanks.
Come join our 361 Firm community of investors and thought leaders. We have a lot of events created by the community as we collaborate on investments and philanthropic interests. Join us.